Hello again, everyone. I've been having a little think about today's dies. Here we are, day 5 of the 2025 Easter calendar from Gummiapan. I wasn't quite sure what they were. Those are the trays from yesterday's sweetie dish. Today we've got a tiny tag, a hunk of cheese, and some indiscriminate, at the minute, small dies. Now, looking at these, I thought, are they grapes? Are they figs? But they're nice and round. So I think they're cherry tomatoes. And when I actually looked closely, you can see there's bits of greenery on the top, or bits of leaves, on the top of each fruit. So, to me, that says tomatoes, cherry tomatoes. And that kind of goes nicely with cheese. At least I hope it's cheese and not a pie. Looks like cheese to me. Anyway, these things, now at some point they're probably going to be sausages, but for the minute they're going to be gherkins or small, whatever. What do you call it? Cornichon? What, you know, whatever they are, pickly things that go with cheese. So what I thought I would do is this. I would use the largest of the 3 dishes from the bonbonnière, or whatever you care to call it, from yesterday, to put on a bunch of cheese and tomatoes and gherkins. And I would have a little panel like this on the front of my card, and I would get some twine and kind of tie it across like this, from which I would suspend the little tag. And I found some tiny little sentiments. These are really old, personal impressions, it says. And this one just says thank you. And I thought this would be quite a nice image, really, to send to somebody after a dinner party or something like that, if you're thanking them for a meal or something of the sort. So it just says thank you. On here, there are various little tiny things. There's thanks. What does that one say? I think that one says thank you as well. It's just a different, there's, you know, mixed. No, that one's printing. This one's script, and that one's printing. Birthday wishes, happy birthday, thinking of you, just because, with sympathy, blah de blah. So they're tiny little things, which is perfect for this little tag. So let's just kind of get going. I've cut out some of the things, started to play, because I wanted to try and have some idea of what I was doing before I started talking, if you know what I mean. I wouldn't be talking a load of rubbish. So I've also looked out a few markers for the cheese and the tomatoes and the gherkin. So I'm trying to think what Americans call gherkins, actually. I can't think for the minute. I used to live there years ago. You'd think I'd remember, wouldn't you? But I'm kind of old. Anyway, so this is a piece of spare card. I'm just going to cut this, this mounting square from this piece of card. Okay, so there's my panel for in there. This is a 6-inch square card. And I thought this could go on there. We're thinking a piece of twine across here, like this, with that just kind of coming through like that. Then we would have this. It could be slightly to one side. And I would put one piece of cheese in. This one, I thought I'd colour, and I'll just put it upside down so it's facing the other way, and tuck some of it behind so that, you know, it's not really visible. And then we'll have some tomatoes on there and some gherkins on there, and just sort of make a pile of whatever, like a cheese course. So that's kind of the idea. So I'll get on and colour a few more bits, and then we'll start sticking together. So here's another couple of gherkins. I can't think what they're called, really can't think. There's a couple of greens. I've got G240 beige green and a G220 lime green. So just colour a bit of these in. A couple of colours just makes a difference. Yesterday, when I made the sweeties, loads of people said, oh, they look so real. So there's kind of 3 things that I did to those sweeties yesterday to make them more realistic, and they all begin with shaping, shading, and shining. The first thing I did actually was to shade, put some shading, some colours on the sweeties, and then I did some shaping. I used my embossing tool, and that's the shaping, and then the shining, I did some clear embossing. So 3 things to make them more realistic, because in fact sweetie wrappers are shiny, aren't they? So pop that back in there. Let's just put a bit of darker green around, just for, again, it's the shading, you know, it adds to realism. I don't know if I'm going to use all these, but you know. There we go. Now for the reds, tomatoes to me are a sort of a warm red. So I've got R070 and Y5, which is called Rouge Orange. So there we go. So I don't know which one's the light. Oh, this is the lighter of the 2, I think. Just put a little bit on. Shading, shaping, shining. There we go. Let's have a look at this one. Yeah, this is a deeper one, I think. I don't really know. I need a bit darker. I'm just going to put a bit of R2 onto it. A few darker bits. There we go. Now, on these little dies, there are lots of debossing lines, which again add realism. And if you want to emphasize some of those, you can just put a bit of white on, just to make a shine, like this. Okay. And you know, I think I may well emboss these as I did yesterday. They're very small, but we'll get there. So we've got, this other cheese, and we've got the plate to do, plus the edge of that. And I'm not quite sure what to put on the edge of that. We'll see. The colour I picked for cheeses, well, colours, were these. I've got Y120, Y121 and Y010. This one has got the darker of the shades, the 121 and the 120. I think this one I'll do with the 2 lighter ones. You may not see that bit actually, so let's use the very light bit for the bit that's going to show. This is this bit here. Probably put a bit of, it's lighter still than that one. Almost looks green, that one. Goodness. Don't need that bit at the bottom because I'm going to put it the other way up. Okay. And the plate, my greys, here we go. I have, with a craft knife, I have cut through the 2 little bits there and there that were holding this piece to that one, so that I can use that for the sort of back of the plate, so the things look as if they're actually in the plate, not just perched on the top. So we'll see. What am I doing? Grey, okay. Right. Shadow underneath. Whole of the back, just as I did yesterday actually. The whole of the back bit. Whoops, bit of shading under here. I'll put some of the lighter one all over it, I think. There we go. And I think I will emboss again today. Not the cheese, I don't think, because I don't think the cheese would be shiny. But I will emboss the gherkins and the tomatoes. So I'll just dab at them, I think, with my... This is an embossing ink dabber from Ranger. They are so tiny. That's it. It doesn't even matter if they're not all shined. It'll just be the impression of shine, I suspect. So that's fine. I don't know if I'll use all the tomatoes, but I'm calling them tomatoes. There we go. Right, I'll just dunk them into some embossing powder, some clear embossing powder, and then heat set them. Let's move that out of the way for the minute. Right. I'll do one on camera and then I'll do the rest in my own time, as it were. Here we go. I'll carry on now and dunk all the rest of them in and then heat set them, and I'll be back when I've done it. Okay, I have put some shine on all of those things. I actually did an extra layer of embossing on this because it really wasn't a very good finish, but these are just the simple dabber that I did before. I thought I would just do the edge of this in silver. So let me just do that now. Just go along here. This pen is the larger, or the largest, should I say, of this particular set, and it's got a chisel point, which makes going along the straight edge like that a little easier, I have to say. So that'll need to kind of dry off a bit. What I thought I would do with this, I'm going to say I put my piece of thread across, but what I thought I would do is just to emboss this little bottom section, just to make it a little bit different. So how much? It's trying to work out what the ins and the outs are, really. I think that's okay. It's got to be straight, whatever it is. Is that okay? I'll put a piece of tape just across the back. Hopefully hold it. Okay. Right, there's a nice embossing on the bottom, and we'll put a piece of thread across there like that. So how I do that is some tape runner on the back, like that, and then we put this around like this. There, like, I'm just wondering, I may cut this off in a minute. I'm just wondering about my tag, whether to just attach that to that with another piece of this. I think that's probably the answer. Let's just see, push that there, through there, and then just a tie. That'll do. That will do that one. So it looks as if it's actually, you know, on, and it's not really. So that can go like that. We'll tie that up and I'll trim it probably later, and I'll probably just keep that down with a glue dot underneath. But in the meantime, I'm going to put a piece of tape over the top of this because it needs a bit of support from both sides, I think. So make sure it doesn't escape. So it's got glue under and glue over, or sticky over anyway. Okay, so there's that. Yeah, that's going to be fine. Now this is going to go on here. Does it go in the centre or does it go on one side? Let's just kind of pile up a bit and see what we look like. That's going to go in onto there, like that. So it looks like it's sitting in the plate. Okay. This one I want to put, cut a bit off the bottom of this. I think it's going to be a bit too long. Oh dear, more thumbs this morning. I think that'll do for that. And this one can go in front of it. Let me just stick this one down. I'm going to put a bit of glue along the bottom of there. Okay. Put it on the wrong side, really. Needs to be on, I've got it, can you see? It needs to be on the front of that bit, not on the back of it. Okay, let's just put it on the front. It'll come in handy on the back when it comes to stick the whole thing down. There we go. There's that piece. And this one, going to go on that side. So I'll put on the back of this one. Let's work on this mat. Need to make this bit stick forward a bit. Okay. Now I'll put some tomatoes. Oh, haven't done the shaping. Oh, haven't done the shaping. That cheese is pretty much flat, but the tomatoes are rounded. Not a lot to these, really. They look pretty good as they are, really. They don't really need much of this. Put some glue on. It's one lot. Tomatoes. Let's see what this looks like. Let's have a look at this here. To the side, I think. Does it need any grounding? I don't think so in this instance. Let me put some glue all over the back of this. I would actually like that base to stick up a bit more. I did cut out a small, there it is, a smaller tray. I'm going to put this on that back bit there to give that a bit more dimension. Okay. Right. Now I put a whole bunch of glue on here. Don't know if I'm working in where you can see. All over the back of this, and the back of this, and this, and this. Everywhere you look. Right. Those tomatoes have shifted, so let's just try and get them back somewhere where I wanted them, like that. And those were over the back, like. Perhaps I'll put those on in a minute. Let's just stick this on first. Okay. Right, let's try and get these tomatoes in before this sets. Okay, and some more. Perhaps put those over there somewhere. Take a while for this glue just to go off. Should we put those? I'm going to cut this stalk off. I want it to look a bit different from that one. Let's put a bit of glue on. I've got a couple more gherkins I could throw around the place, but I think we might be okay. There we are. Right, there's the odd gherkin around. Now this one needs a little foam, not a foam, a glue dot underneath. These are sort of fat ones, so that'll be just perfect for under there. So cut it close to the actual thing. Pop it underneath, get my angle right. Press, take it off. Gosh, these are sticky ones. Goodness. There we are. Oh, that's fine. I'm going to put another gherkin there. That's better. Okay, now I just need to cut one of these and see if I can twiddle that a little bit. I'll try a bit of glue stick. I don't know if it's going to work. Well, the next size up, I think we'll go for. Okay, I'm just going to put some foam tape on the back of this panel, and I'm going to avoid putting it where those bits of twine are, because otherwise I'll have a huge great lump. So this will kind of almost make a little channel for that cord to be accommodated by. So let's just pop some of this on here. It was a toss-up between do I put that onto foam tape or do I put this onto foam tape, and the fact that this one has got the cord on it, the thread, means that this is definitely the one to put the foam tape on. That one can go flat to the card, but nevertheless it'll still be a frame for this one. Do you see? It just kind of focuses the eye in like this. So let's just pop this on and then we're done. And this one can just go on with tape runner. Check which way it opens. There we are. So, day 5. Got a little mark, which I will just buzz off. There we go. Day 5 of the Gummiapan Easter calendar 2025. I wonder if this is going to become an annual thing. Anyway, little die cuts, shaded, shaped and shined to make them look a bit more realistic. So as ever, thank you for joining me, and do come back and see me very soon.